foghorn my way across the room.
Yeah, your voice seems to be really doing well. I'm the one who's lacking, I guess.
Well,
apparently.
less, old man.
Well, then I'll move closer.
The future is now, old man.
Okay, look up.
What are we looking out for? Oh, you're moving the table. Hit the table. On the table. Charlie Babbitt.
With the maple syrup. Okay, are we going to start this thing?
Oh, you going to start this thing?
I'm
You're
going to
starting the thing.
All right, welcome again to Drake and the Maestro, Almost Relevant.
Almost something.
Special Holiday Cottage Edition.
Yeah. This is the in-person edition.
As listeners out there might be able to hear, we're together in one room.
That's rare.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them.
I know we did Christmas episode, but this really is the Christmas episode.
I don't know who the gift, but who's the gift for? Is it for them? Because it's definitely not for them.
Well, okay, it's when you come off the road and you get together and you get your Christmas presents.
Yeah, I got my oil filter cup, which is awesome.
Right. So this is, for us, Christmas time.
Use your cane for your headphones.
I'm trying to hang my headphones up because I'm not hearing anything.
I don't know why I pointed. I could have just said it. It would have been funnier.
I can't hear a darn thing, so why wear them?
You don't need to hear anything. You're not important to this podcast anyway.
I can hear you much better now.
Really? Yeah. You can hear me better without things covering your ears, so that's a surprise in and of itself.
Small measures of something.
Oh, jeez.
All right.
Jeez, folks. That's terrible.
So, are we going to be like they do with the little kids, hey, I got Christmas presents?
No.
I thought you looked good in your Santa shirt.
I did get a Santa shirt. Yeah, I did too. I can't see myself wearing the Santa shirt, so I have to take other people's words for it.
It really works for the physique. If Santa was
I don't know if I should be insulted by that, or...
If Santa was an angry, bald, bearded man...
Who says he's not? There's no proof he's not bald. He could be wearing a wig.
Yeah, according to Weird Al,
Santa went crazy one night.
Right.
Yeah, we've all heard that song.
Right. So we're enjoying the opening of the Christmas gifts.
Mostly my Christmas. All my Christmas gifts.
Maestro's been on the road, and now he's stopped in at the cottage here at the homestead.
Yeah, the compound even.
Right. And we're going through the Christmas presents.
Yeah. I got my oil filter mug, which looks like an oil filter
with the
wrench on it, which is awesome.
Everybody got oil filter mugs this year.
Yeah.
Deserved. Even the people who don't understand it, which makes me laugh anyway.
That's great. No, it's perfect.
Some of my extended family, I got this really cool travel mug, and not realizing it looks like an oil filter sitting on the wrench.
Yeah, you're still holding the wrench. I got that. I got the Santa shirt that we just talked about. I got some money from my aunt, which was very nice. I'll be enjoying that later on something. And then I got my own Christmas presents for myself.
Yeah, the best Christmas presents are the ones you buy for yourself. Right.
Yeah, it's always...
And that proves the whole thing about it's better to give... Is that where it's better to give and
for
receive?
Yourself?
No, it's better to give and receive. Isn't that the saying?
I thought it was better to give for yourself than receive from others.
Well, that's kind of like the spring forward and the fall back in the winter.
In the spring.
Yeah, one of those. I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah,
I don't know. I got new knives.
Knife manufacturers hate this new invention, but there's nothing they can do to stop it.
Yeah, he's got the terrorist surprise knife.
Yeah, it's a gravity karambit that you flip it and then it opens.
Okay, wait a minute. Did I get transported into the knife podcast?
No, this
is
knife
channel.
Well, no, what is it?
A karambit?
A karambit.
Is that a mixer that you get in Vegas? And you go to the bar.
It might also be that. It might also be that.
Give me a karambit.
Give me a karambit.
Like Dean Martin drank those all the time.
Well, it's a specific knife shape. It's that hooked. For listeners out there, it's a hooked knife with a ring at the end. That's the specific shape, and it's made for. It was actually developed by, I believe, Taiwanese martial artists, and the originals are much smaller. The blade is much smaller. It's like
it's perfect for skinning you alive.
Well, it's made to be like a punch knife. So you hold it in your hand, and then you're fighting your opponent. And you can catch them with the blade in sensitive areas, shall we say? Yeah,
and they get tell us the knife you have comes with a training one, right?
Yeah, it comes with a training blade so that you can practice opening and closing it without stabbing yourself in the hand sevel times and cutting your hand apart.
Yeah, because I was trying that myself. You insisted I try it.
I did,
and it was like the. Reminded me of the cartoon by, was it Gary Larson? The guy who did Farce.
Yeah, Gary Larson, yeah.
He's like the dog. He's riding a unicycle on a tightrope at a circus tent, and he's juggling, and he's got a cat in his mouth and a fish bowl on his head, and the caption says, "Rex, although concentrating on his trick, is haunted by the thought that he is an old dog and this is a new trick."
Yeah, well, thank you for describing a visual medium to the listeners. It's great.
It's what I do.
Yeah, you're perfect for it. You got a real face for radio.
I do. That's why I use cartoons in our pictures.
No one wants to look at this.
No. I'm trying the knife, and I can see how that could be very scary. It reminded me of learning how to use my butterfly knife back in the 80s.
Yeah, if anybody's ever used a butterfly knife at least once with a live blade, you've cut yourself on it at least once.
Oh, yeah.
At least. I mean, that's just how you get to know the knife, is that it cuts you, it tastes your blood, now it's your knife, and then you guys can start to work together.
Right. It's
Then the learning process begins.
You got to build an understanding.
Right. The knife reminds you that it's sharp, and then you go, oh, right, this isn't a toy.
Yeah, I started with one of those cheaper ones with the anodized gold handles.
Oh, yeah, the ones that everybody has. It's like the handles are looser and all get out, and it flops around, you drop it, the handles shatter.
Yeah, like that. And then I bought a really good one.
That I think is a Benchmade.
Yeah.
We haven't seen it
It's been a few years, but it's still in the homestead somewhere. And that one was a double. It was more of a dagger blade rather than a buoy.
Which they don't make anymore for very specific reasons, because usually the double-edged ones are hard to do tricks with because there's two edges and you can't spin around the blade.
I thought it was because it was kind of stabby.
Well, that's what they're originally intended for, is to be stabby, but then they kind of became the male version of a fidget toy.
Oh, quite so. I spent many an hour fidgeting with that thing and learning how to open and close it effectively, which turned out, if I might tell an old story from way back when.
Back when dinosaurs roamed the earth. Yes, thank you.
Well, no, the earth had already cooled. Dinosaurs were already gone. The floodwaters receded.
Are we sure about that?
Yeah, I was sure of it.
You've been. Okay, anyway, go ahead.
So this is before the days of consulting. This is how I gained the knowledge to become a consultant, by doing all the grunt jobs. And so I'm working on the line, fast food place. And
you stab the burger.
And just like all the other walruses and nerds out there, you know that you got the one attractive girl is going to put you in the friend zone, and forever there you will be.
Yes.
Right? And so...
Or in my case, I went to the register and we were flirting, and then I remembered that Menards used to hire 16-year-olds, and I had to ask them, how old are you? I'm 16, and this conversation is over!
Well, look at the time.
Right, I must be going!
So, I was trying to do everything I could to get her attention.
As you do.
As one does. Especially a young buck full of adrenaline and other things.
Yes.
And not happening. It's just not, oh, yeah, oh, hi,
You're such a good friend.
Right. Right. And when you get to the point where I don't want to destroy a relationship by dating, it's like, oh, I do, but...
Let's blow this thing. Let's blow this pop stand.
Right. So, anyway, another young suitor comes along. He's like showing off his gold-handled butterfly to everybody. Had them.
Yeah, they were everywhere.
Right.
That's why they got outlawed, because you guys were doing stupid stuff with them back when you were kids, you jerks.
Anyway, a little too stabby. So he's very diligently opening.
Yeah, the 80s were a very stabby time.
Very diligently opening because they handle splits.
Yeah,
it flips around the blade.
Yeah, you've seen them, listeners. You've seen them in movies, or you might have one. I don't know, but yeah, they're very iconic style knife. Butterfly knife, balisong, many names.
So that's the knife that he's using, and he's opening with two hands. The two-hand open.
Yeah, the gentle opens. Right. You haven't really played with it a whole lot.
Well, and so I thought, here's my chance, right? So he's showing. He's like, So I walk up and go, hey, can I see that? That looks really cool. So he hands it to me. And I always like it. How can I see that? And what he really means, can I touch it? Can I hold it?
Yeah, you can see it here. Here, see, right. see. Yeah.
So I take it, and I'm really good with mine. So I whip around, flip it out, to get it back and forth, do all the tricks that you're talking about. No bloodletting, no stabby, nothing. And then I hand it back to him. I'm thinking, all right, now that's impressive, right?
That's weird.
No, that's right. She looks like, oh.
Right, because now you're dangerous.
Right, now I'm dangerous. Now I'm a dangerous nerd.
Oh, great. He's creepy and dangerous.
Right.
Awesome.
That's downright stocky.
Yeah, that's what you've done there. What you did there was ruin your chances forever.
I went out of the friend zone into the stalker zone.
Right, exactly. You went from, oh, he's kind of fun to be around, to, oh, he might be dangerous. I need to leave him alone.
I got to better check and make sure he's not following me home from work.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Oops. I get that look when I open people's trucks for them at the truck stop.
Why are you opening people's trucks?
I have this. I had locked myself out of my own truck at one point, many moons ago, about 5 years ago now, when I worked for the first company. I locked my truck keys in the truck.
In the cab.
Yeah, in the cab, and I couldn't get back into it because I didn't have a spare. Because it wasn't my because with that company you trade trucks all the time, so you never get time to get a spare. You're always in a different truck. So I had to figure out how to get in, and another driver eventually came by and was like, we pulled the door away and got the Jimmy in there and pushed the lock button and opened it, right? So I started YouTubing how to unlock trucks, right? Just how to get into a truck if you lock your keys out, right? And I came across this video that basically you can unlock any truck lock as long as the key fits in the keyway.
So like a bump key, basically.
Right, but you can do it with any key.
As long as it fits in.
As long as it's the same twist pattern, it fits in the lock. You can use any key. It becomes a bump key.
Wait, should we be telling people this?
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Okay.
I'm not the first person to discover this. I'm just very prolific at it. So I make it a point now that anytime I see someone locked out of their truck, I walk over, oh, you locked out? I go, yeah, hang on. I go get someone else's key from a different truck, just walk over and boop, and I unlock it. I've done it 6 times. And people always look at me like, why do you know how to do that? And why did it work so easily?
Yeah. That reminds me of 2 things. One, on our Chevy Suburban, right?
Yeah.
I locked my keys in it.
Yep.
And I had to get somewhere. Well, I called the chief.
Yeah.
Who also had the same year Suburban, just different color.
The key in the lock.
And we're trying to get in there, we're trying to do whatever. He's like, wait a minute. They only use so many different patterns of keys, right? It's like, let's just try it. Like, there's no way.
There's no way.
His key went right in unlocked.
Yeah, Freightliner does that. They only use 4 different key patterns. Like, they only have 4 different keys. So if you're listeners out there, if you're in a large trucking company and you have, let's say, 8 trucks lined up, your key will unlock 2 of them.
Yeah, so just walk down the line. Just
down the line. And realistically, if you're skilled enough with the bump method of using a key to unlock the door, you can unlock all 8.
So number 2. Now, when I was running my shop, one of the big problems we had was guys would go in, because we did a lot of tires. Right. Guys would go in, they would check the spare, do whatever. It was part of our service was check the spare anyway.
Oh, no. Did somebody lock their keys? Yeah, lock the customers' keys in the trunk?
All the time.
Oh, geez.
Guys were locking customers' keys in the trunk. Right? And I'm like, okay, and I got to go back because I'm running the place. I got to go back to the customer and go, listen, we locked the keys in. I don't want to jimmy the trunk and then call.
Right.
Do you have a spare set
in your wallet or at home?
And then I got to run them home and get it. Okay. Oh, but my house keys are on. Like, son of a mother, duh. So it happened one day, and my tool guy happened to be there. And the tool guy.
You need a set of these.
That's what he did.
That's what every tool guy does. It doesn't matter. Like, there's a YouTube video of a guy. He's talking about, I'm not going to buy any more tools. I'm not going to buy any more tools. And he goes to he says he walks to the tool truck and the salesman put it there. There's a dime he said it was like a dime or a quarter on the floor. Yeah. He goes, oh, hang on, let me get that. He gets these little pliers out. And he picks it up by the edge, right, by like the edge of the lip, and goes, here. And he's like, all right, well, give me those. It's like, oh, I thought you weren't buying any more tools. He's like, no, I gotta have those. He said, okay, well, which ones do you want? Because there's the big ones and the small ones. So I ended up buying 2 of them. He's been picking up nickels off the floor ever since. Just keeps dropping the same nickel on the floor and picking it up by the lip.
Yeah, and in fact, I talked to the tool guy, my tool guy, who was a friend, who was my mechanic for my over-the-road truck, unbeknownst to me. And when
but knownst to him?
Knownst to him? Well, not really.
I just wanted to say knownst.
Because he was talking to me, and he happened to say he happened to work at that Volvo white dealer.
Oh, okay.
And about between when and when? And he's like, he's yeah, that's right. I need the Maestro's knife there. Between when? Because what happened? Brand new truck, but it came without air conditioning. Apparently, air conditioning was an option back then in the 80s.
It was an option up until the mid 90s.
Okay, so
on cars
to keep my co-driver happy, who was your mother?
I was gonna say it was also your wife at the time.
That's right, my wife at the time. We had the air conditioning had to be installed, and my tool guy, then the diesel mechanic, put the air conditioning in. Right?
And it fell off.
But yes, it did. And he put U.S. bolts in a metric block because it's a Volvo with a Volvo engine from Europe.
Yep.
Right? And so he goes to the tool crib and just pulls SAE bolts.
Hey, it'll be about right.
And so the first time we turn the air conditioning on, the compressor falls into the fan. We got to get towed to the dealer.
Yeah, towed back to the same dealer.
So when we finally made the connection, again, as him, my tool man now,
did you beat him to death with a size 16 wrench or something?
Well, let's just say I got a nice discount on some wrenches, okay?
Because they were being threatened to shoved up his doo-wop.
Did you put air conditioning kit? He's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, it fell off in the first summer in Texas. Thanks for nothing.
See, that was your first mistake. You should have turned it on before you left the parking lot.
Well, I assumed they had tested it. And
Never assume.
It didn't fall off right away. It was about half a day's worth of driving, and all of a sudden, clang.
No, that could have just been the road. They didn't Loctite him or something.
No, because then it got towed to the dealer, okay? And the dealer's like, we got to replace the whole front timing cover because the bolts are all stripped out because they've been slowly loosening and jiggling.
Around.
Right?
Because they're just a little too small for the hole.
Like, can't you helicoil them or something? Like, no. Have to replace the entire front
cover. Right, because that guy's from Europe, probably worked for Volvo in Europe. They brought him over.
And it's going to be down for 10 years or something, whatever it is. Because the part has to come from slow boat from Europe or whatever. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Can't you helicoil?
Well, it was back when, the Wright brothers hadn't flown yet, so they couldn't get him over on the airplane.
Oh, can't you helicoil it or something? Oh, no. There's no guarantee. I can't do it. Sweden, see, there is no guarantee.
Just pretend you're the Swedish chef.
There is no guarantee to be holding. You must have the whole timing covered. Like, oh my gosh.
That turned into Indian at the end there.
I can do Indian.
Everybody can do Indian. That's not a. If you could start doing Arnold Schwarzenegger, then I'll be impressed.
So it was just the only belt that thing connected was the air conditioning. Right, compressor. So I said, okay, well, you know what? I'll think about it.
And then you got back to the hotel, and my mom said, yeah, you're going to think about it right back to the dealer and tell him to do it.
Oh, that might have been what she said, but what happened was I went and got the metric bolt helicoil kit and JB weld. And I guarantee that bracket is still on that block to this day.
Wherever that block is.
Wherever it is.
There's some guy in a junkyard trying to get the AC compressor off. Like, why won't these bolts come out?
It's breaking metric sockets.
Right.
Yeah.
He did what you did when you tried to take the tensioner off the gray van. And I'm standing, I'm like, what was I? Probably like 14, 13.
Yeah.
And you're just cranking on that wrench. I'm like, doesn't it go the other way? You're like, no, it goes this way. Snap! As you broke the tensioner pulley off the mounting. It's like, oh, I guess it did go the other way. Yeah. Well, then what was I here for? You're not going to listen to me. Why am I here?
You're overmodulating, my friend.
That's your problem. You're the editor.
So let's see. That was number... Okay, so he comes in and he says, you need these. And he hands me the Maestro automotive lockpick.
Yeah, which I have at the house.
Right. Lockpick set. And you don't have it in the house anymore because it is in the toolbox. And now that...
Oh, is it over in the toolbox now?
Toolbox is here.
Okay.
So
I had it in the house. How about that?
Now, it takes a little bit of skill to learn it.
It does.
But what a great tool. So I decided, you know what? I'm getting locked out left and right, and I'm never going to get locked out again. So I just kept the Master pick set with me wherever I went.
Until you locked those in the trunk.
Well, so I was leaving the Wendy's, drive through, right?
Of course. So this is a Wendy's?
There's always a Wendy's in the story.
We go to Wendy's a lot.
A lot. And I'm noticing the 3 squad cars and the one woman with a Honda Civic, right? And they're all messing around with the driver's door, which tells me that they're locked in. Now, I'll cue a suggestion maybe.
You want to try that again there, Porky Pig?
If you're going to try experimenting with unlocking a door, if you lock your keys in the vehicle...
Use the passenger door.
Use the passenger door.
Yeah, use the door you're not going to be getting in and out of all the time.
When you bugger up the mechanisms, well, it's on the passenger side, and you don't have to contend with it as much as the dealing with it every single time you get in and out.
Unless it's a Volvo and there's only one key and it's on the driver's side.
Anyhow, so I walk over there. I grab my lockpick set, Master set. I walk over.
May I help?
May I help? Exactly. The guy helped. It's like, well, I don't think so, sir. We're trying to get this door open. And I did at that point. I had done so many Honda Civics, so I just got the wafer pick out and open it up like that. And like, oh, thanks. So I'm walking.
Wait a minute.
And I'm walking right. I'm walking back, and all of a sudden I hear a cop. Hold on.
Hang on a second. You come back here, you rapscallion, you.
That's exactly it. How is it that you have, why do you have these tools with you? I told him the whole story, mechanic, locking, trunk,
keys, often.
Murdering employees,
Yeah.
Like, oh.
Like a caveman.
So, okay, go on. You're fine. You may go.
Continue on, citizen.
Thank you, good citizen.
Speaking of, so you had the police, you helped the police. I wish I'd had the police when I'm going down the road in Ohio. I'm going down I-80 in Ohio. And I'm coming through a construction zone, and I got a guy in front of me, and he moved, the right lane had ended. So I'm now in the right lane, what was the center lane. I got a guy on my left, who he moved from the center lane to the left lane for some reason, even though because sometimes you go through construction zones like Pennsylvania, and they have signs now that say trucks use left lane because the left lane's bigger, or it's not as heavily cambered one way or the other.
Beat up,
Usually it's lean.
They're trying to even out the wear.
Well, it's lean. The left lane is what used to be the shoulder, and that's usually canted pretty heavily for drainage. So they want you in the the right lane is canted because it used to be the shoulder. So they want you in the left lane so you don't tip over going around a curb.
I guess that could be beneficial.
Yeah. So coming out of the construction zone, and the construction zone ends right as the on-ramp for a service plaza gets on. So tanker comes out of the service plaza, gets in what is now the right lane. I'm in the middle lane, and this chucklehead is in the left lane, and he puts his signal on to come over right, and I give him the good buddy headlight flash, like, yeah, you're good to come over in front of me. And I'm thinking he's just going to come over in front of me and clear the left lane. No, this guy decides to clear 3 lanes of traffic all the way into the right lane. And the tanker, who's just merged onto the highway and gotten up to speed, is now pushed off onto the shoulder, just fully off onto the shoulder, and has to slow down.
Was there a fireball involved?
Oh, if there was, we wouldn't be doing this podcast because I was right there. I had to unclench my shorts. The tanker driver had to unclench his shorts.
There was a lot of clenching.
There was a lot of clenching involved. I'm pretty sure he had to be pried out of his seat, and there was a noise as he got out because it was just locked in. He had to go get new underpants, pants, and a new seat.
Well, that's your problem for flashing in the good buddy lights.
You're not wrong because I thought the guy that was in front of me had some common sense, and that was my first.
See what you did there?
No, I see what I did there, and I was wrong, and I apologize to that tanker driver. I didn't mean to do that to you because apparently I let in an idiot. Where I was going with that is that you helped the cops. I wish the cops would have helped me there because holy crap, we almost died.
What is that saying about a cop and when you need one?
He's never there.
Mm-hmm.
He's never there when you need him.
And there's a reason for that.
Yeah. Because that would be too convenient.
Oh my goodness. That reminds me.
That was crazy. I had my life flash before my eyes because he's pulling a flammable tanker, and I'm just like, oh well, I guess this is how I die, because that would have been it. And then you're releasing a 5-minute episode. Well, the Maestro's dead.
Ding dong. Okay, wait.
It's just you going, well, the Maestro's dead, and then playing Ding Dong, the witch is dead from the Wizard of Oz.
Exactly.
If you don't do that, if I die early, if I die before you, I require that of you.
Oh, there's gonna be a lot of mayhem.
I require it.
Yeah. No, that you're talking about cops when you need them or when you don't need them, right? They're there when you don't need them.
They're always there when you don't need them.
So we're
doing 100 miles an hour trying to get to your house that's on fire. You're gonna get pulled over. Like, sir, what's the hurry?
Yeah. And so that reminds me when I was closing down for the evening, a restaurant that will go nameless because it reappears in the podcast often.
And we need to get sponsored by them.
We should be.
I don't know how we make that happen.
I don't know. Hey,
Wendy's, if you're listening, we're in.
So I'm getting the night crew out of there and closing down, and my roommates show up, and up to no good. You know, you were young.
Trouble in the neighborhood?
Well, we were young. Yeah, we were trouble. We were the trouble of the neighborhood.
You were the people that Will Smith's mom warned him about in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yes, I think that was us.
Yeah.
So at this point, I'm driving a little Honda Civic. I mean, the original
Gen 1 where the shifter's on the dashboard.
Well, not quite that. There was Gen 2.
Okay.
So they made it just a little bigger, but I had
It's slightly bigger than a shoebox.
let's just say it was more comfortable for me to stick my head out of the sunroof and drive it.
Did you say a sunroof?
Yeah.
Oh,
It was a deluxe, man.
Ooh.
So I used to have a French Foreign Legion hat with the flaps and sunglasses.
Yeah, aviator goggles.
Well, that was for nighttime. I had the aviators.
Yeah, the big with the weird shaped lenses and then a scarf.
Right. Well, I didn't have the scarf, but
You needed the scarf.
No,
what are you doing?
No. Try driving with the scarf. How those other pilots did it's beyond me. But the flapping...
Well, what's between that and your neck being very, very cold, you know.
The flapping of the flaps on the back of my neck flaps, because it's one of those desert hats,
Yeah,
right? It's got the canvas flaps.
It's got a cape.
Yeah. So
It's a hat with a cape.
It's a hat with a cape. And I'm driving with my head sticking out with the goggles on and the flaps flapping in the wind. So it's got that whole
You're a blinky light away from a what's his name sketch.
It's definitely one World War I ace kind of a vibe going. And so the Dunkin' Donut shop was right adjacent to the restaurant.
Okay.
So we'd end shift and we'd go by all their day olds.
Go to make the donuts.
By the carton. Right?
And then throw them at police officers.
No.
Oh.
Well, sort of. Then we'd drive down on the way back to our apartment and we would have a donut fight.
I mean, sure, why not?
You know, I mean, it's like, food fight.
Yeah, it would probably cost you like $2 to buy all the donuts.
Right. So it was a food fight on wheels. Now, and of course, the trick was to have your window open just enough
to get the donut out.
Right, because if it's too narrow, you're getting some backsplash.
Right, you're getting donut pieces flung back at you.
Or if it's a jelly, whoa. Right?
Or conversely, if the window's too low, then they could get donuts in.
Right. So the sunroof was a real benefit.
Yeah, you can lob them.
Right. So they're trying to hit my head because I'm sticking on the sunroof. Of course, I can duck, right? And so then I can duck down. I can grab another jelly and then stick my head out, acquire target, and fling the donut.
Let loose the hogs of war.
Right. The problem was that when flinging said donut, I got a lot of momentum on that donut, a lot of energy on that donut because I had a free throw, whereas they're trying to throw them back through the slit in their window.
Right, you got a full range of motion.
Full range of motion. So I launch a jelly-filled crawler at my opponent, and it skips off because it got the open window. Would you say
it glazes off?
Yes, it glazed right off.
It glazed right off,
and just kept going, and it stuck to the window of the squad car doing radar. Yes.
Cop's like, I don't know whether to be insulted or interested.
And I wasn't the only one throwing donuts. So by the time the cop pulled us over, there were donuts stuck
just
to
like down the side of the squad.
And they were slowly going down the car.
I don't know what you're talking about, officer. That wasn't us. You keep your food to yourself, son.
And of course, he closes the door and a couple of donuts fall off. Do you think this is funny?
Well, actually, yeah.
I had to. I just couldn't. Yes, I do. And I can tell the cop's trying not to laugh. he's really trying to be very serious.
Yeah, this is a very serious moment,
but
son.
This is about all, back then, this is about all that excitement you could get at 3 a.m.
Well, especially where you live.
Yeah. It was like
dead.
I'm sure he was half asleep.
They rolled up the sidewalks.
I'm sure he was half asleep when the first thump hit the car.
What? And then there's a crawler sliding down his windshield. So I don't... That's a weird dream.
There's so... Yeah, I really gotta lay off the day olds.
Yeah. There's two guys, there's two cars go by and there's donuts crossing between each other like a 1800 ship battle.
It was 3 of us in 3 cars. And I thought, this isn't going to be a problem. Donuts, cops, there's a stereotype there.
There's a stereotype for a reason.
So I figured, well, we're into it. In for a penny, in for a pound.
Would you like some, sir?
Exactly. And then the cop got into it. He goes like, you know what? I hate to see a good donuts get wasted.
That's
well, these are the day olds. It's like, okay.
Well, I can let this.
No, I'll let that go. So then, of course, typical cop, he runs everybody's driver's license.
Yeah, make sure there's no warrants.
Right.
Or
So
whatever.
both my roommates go to jail because they're driving on multiple suspensions.
Oh. I guess that's the real life lesson. If you have a suspended license, maybe don't get in a donut ship war.
So, and this is one of the few times back then that I had a valid license.
Oh, lucky for you.
So I had to drive down, pick them up out of jail, and then we had to go get the cars out of impound and all,
and then they drove them home on their suspended license because this was the 80s. When,
Well, and then they
you're drunk, you're hammered, you're wasted. Now drive straight home.
And after all that, my roommates want to know if I had any donuts left.
Oh, give them all to the cop, you idiots.
They're in their cars. So then they're driving back, and the war resumes. Only I'm unarmed.
Sir, I am unarmed.
So I'm driving home trying to stay ahead of these other cars, and it's... yeah. So the moral of the story is...
If you guys weren't calling that out like a ship battle from the 1800s, I don't know what you're doing with your lives. Sir, fire a warning shot across his nose! As the jelly donut goes flying over.
Across his nose, not up it.
That's right. All right, let him have the broadside.
Tally-ho, boys!
Tally-ho!
Well, that if I'd had a passenger,
Yeah.
right, that would have been the way to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, wear your three-cornered hat, you know.
Yeah. Okay, fire!
I could just, and I could just see it in the cop. He's looking at his car. The donuts are slick. There's circles on the windshield, and on the windows where they hit.
Yeah.
No.
See, you should have done it around Valentine's Day when they do the heart-shaped donuts. Like, different heart shapes slathered on his windshield.
Now, you young people, this was a different time. You couldn't
You can't do that now.
No. I mean, maybe out in the middle of, like, Utah or something.
I mean, maybe, or even rural Illinois, you could probably get away with it. You know.
But there has to be nobody,
Yeah, there can't be anybody around. Nobody can be around.
I mean, this was at the far west suburbs of Chicago.
Yeah,
So
but it was this
can't-
late 80s.
You can't do that now.
No, it was like the mid 80s. You can't do that now.
First of all, that 2-lane is now 4 lanes with the turn lane. It's a 5
right,
lane.
with a suicide lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
and there's about a bazillion people that travel it every day.
Right. At all hours of the
Yeah,
day.
it's barely ever empty.
Yeah. Don't mimic my bad behavior.
Don't
Come up with your own, doggone.
forget about me. Sorry.
That was a strange time in life.
Well, So if your parents ever say that they never did anything stupid when they were younger, don't believe
no,
them.
they're
They're
not.
lying. They're lying through their teeth.
No. Nope.
They were probably more Hellraiser than you were.
The only thing that stops us from doing more of it now is
you're
that,
old.
Well, we know we have more responsibility and more to lose.
Right.
Back then, you got nothing to lose.
Right. Right. It's the same reason that I don't drive fast in my car now. If I had that car 10 years ago, I probably wouldn't be able to get a license now.
I would have been bailed you out so many times that I would have stopped bailing you out.
Oh, you wouldn't have bailed me out the first time.
One time.
No, I don't even think you would have done it the first time.
Well, it depends. You're probably right. Now I think about it.
No, I know you. You wouldn't have bailed me out at all.
I'm trying to think about my father. My father never bailed me out, ever.
Why would he?
Well, it's because he didn't know. Because there's no way I'm going to allow that shame on the family name.
Well, according to him.
Well, I just, he did drive my Suburban once when I got popped for delivering newspapers.
Without a license?
Without a license.
Now, is that without a license for the newspapers or without a license to drive?
Without a license to drive.
Okay.
Yeah. So, talk about wrong-headed decisions. Since we're going there, all this area of my life, who in their right mind... Okay, I'm formerly...
there's your first problem.
Right, I'm not in my right mind, and I wasn't then either. So, if you people think I'm not in my right mind now, I've actually mellowed.
That's the scary part.
So, I've been working on building up my Suburban, and I put a kind of a fire-breathing small block in it, and we were doing all kinds of stuff to it, my roommate and I, and we were planning on going to Baja.
No.
And
losing.
Hey, finishing would have been something.
That would have been a miracle.
All we ended up doing was heading to Florida and living in the Suburban.
You went to the wrong side of the country.
Well, you got baby steps, okay?
Yeah, but you can go run through the deserts of California. There's no deserts in Florida. It's all beach.
Well, it's beach. It's something.
It's different.
You do what you can afford. The idea was to get jobs down there and then make our way across the country. Okay?
Okay.
Never mind. So, the
that was a wrong-headed decision right there. You went to the wrong part of the country.
So many. And, I mean, to his credit...
How are you still alive?
It's an act of God. Really.
I'm pretty sure. That means that I'm lucky to be here.
You are.
Because you're lucky to be here.
Absolutely. No, it was and to his credit, he eventually did make it out west to California, and he went to film school, and he's a film producer and writer now.
Well, it's a good thing one of you made something of yourself.
Yeah, me, no. Nothing. We won't talk about the patents and the whatever.
Nobody needs to know about those.
It takes the wild ones to contribute sometimes. Anyway, that wasn't the story.
It takes the wild ones to make the rest of us realize that no, maybe we shouldn't do that.
Yeah, that's right. Like, I've been delivering newspapers to earn some money. I would go to the newspaper place and I would sort the newspapers for my route, because basically doing a paper route, right?
Yeah.
Only doing it on a grand scale. There's the only way to make any money at it. So I was driving a Ford Escort, right? And they would we'd load all the papers in the back. And I'm like, it's such a pain because you're loading all the papers in the back. And then eventually, as they run out, you're reaching way back there. You got to try to fish around, find them. I thought, if I could just put that rolling canvas cart right into my Suburban, right behind me, I could just grab the papers out of there and throw them all the way to where they were down. Now, great idea, right?
Yeah.
Except that Suburban is painted black. It's got flames across the front. It's got lifted. It's got huge desert tires on it. It's got a small block Chevy, long tube headers, and glass packs on the collector.
Right. There's no exhaust. There's no exhaust. I mean, for all intents and purposes, there is no exhaust.
It's not. Let's put it this way: it's not the thing you want idling through your upper middle class neighborhood at 5 a.m.
I don't know if I want that idling through my neighborhood at any time during the day.
So I finally get it running, get it together. Like,
the wet bandits are going to come for me.
I'm going to do my paper route with this truck. It's great. It's going to be awesome. So I load up the papers.
For you.
It took me a fraction of the time as it did loading up the Escort. I think I got down 2 blocks. And
do you know how obstinate you were being?
Oh, the people were just wondering what's going on. The truck's kind of scary. And I stand back, look at the kind of, just because it's being illuminated by the street light. And like,
you're there to rob the place?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. Yeah, I can see it. Can
Fair point.
I can see your driver's license. Like, crap. So
here's the problem.
Yeah, here's the problem with that. So I'm taking a ride. I got the bracelets. And
Ooh, I also have bracelets.
I got out, and they let me park the truck there. They didn't tow it. And so you've got to have a licensed driver drive it back. The only licensed driver I had available was my old man, my dad.
Because Grandma's not going to drive it. The only car she knows how to drive is a 63 Beetle.
Well, she could have driven that truck. It had a Muncie T10 Rock Crusher in it. So
I would have paid money to see that.
Money.
I'd have paid good money to see Grandma drive a Muncie T10 Rock Crusher in a Suburban with no mufflers, with no exhaust.
Almost as good as that's my dad driving. It's almost as good.
It's a close second. It's a close second.
The really conservative Mennonite son of the pastor. Yeah, driving the truck with flames on it. That's got some rather interesting graphics.
It looks like something that just came out of Death Proof.
Yeah, with somewhat insulting never mind. It had some rude stuff written on it. So he drove it all the way home, grumbling all the way.
Yeah. Turn into Yosemite Sam briefly.
So let me just say that shortly after that, I was no longer living at home.
You're living in the Suburban.
Yes, that's where I moved. I moved into the Suburban.
I'd like Grandpa. I would have paid money to see Grandpa drive it like Michael Winslow does in his comedy bit.
I'm not familiar with that.
Yes, you are. Where he's pretending to start the Jeep.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Reverse is cool.
Well, he did drive my turbo Corvair.
I think he would have liked that.
He did. He loved it. Now,
he had the hot Saab at one point.
Yeah, he had the Saab. He had a 95 and a 96.
Yeah.
So the 2-cycle, 3-cylinder, and then the V4.
Was it been early 90s cars?
60s.
Was it a 95? Yeah, I guess. 60s. Well, yeah, the 95's been around forever.
60s.
Yeah.
But compared to a Beetle.
Yeah.
Right? And they were already winning motocross, or was it rallies?
Rallycross and stuff.
Yeah, rallycross, yeah. So, but he took the Corvair out, and legitimately, because he's like, he needs to get out, go downtown, come back.
Right.
Right.
Your car was there.
My car was the only car there. My mom had their car, and so I'm like, okay, careful on the throttle, Dad.
Yeah.
Right now, that was 200. I had already built the engine, so it was no longer the 180 horse, which is still in the Corvair. 180 horses.
Those cars don't weigh a whole lot.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at, so this had 200 and some horsepower in it. Right, doesn't seem like a big deal, but it's basically a Beetle.
Yeah, it's just kind of a long Beetle.
That thing would scoot. And so it was interesting listening to my dad idling it out of the drive, just, blah, 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 just idling it out, right? Goes down the road. Just sounds like he's driving a Beetle. No big deal.
Well, it's kind of is a Beetle. It's a flat.
Right.
It's a flat six.
Well, as soon as he's out of sight, I hear, whoa, whoa.
Let's see what this throttle's all about.
And then he comes back. He hands me the keys. Like, thanks. I'm like, how's the car? So it's okay.
It's okay. It's all right. I would have been I would also pay good money to be able to fly on the wall in that car.
Oh, I wish if the car could talk.
Oh, that had stories.
Yeah.
Some of them real interesting about you.
Well, and in fact, that's one car I wish I still had, but it is still. I sold it to a collector, and it's still on the road.
It's around.
So it's been restored. It's because it's a rare animal, and I'm happy to see that. Even though there's no way I would have had the money to do it.
No, not like that.
And yeah, it was a full ground up restoration. Yeah. It's gorgeous. So, and really, on that note, it's probably time to say goodbye.
It probably is. Probably is time to say goodbye. It's dark out,
Yeah.
The sun's getting real low in the sky.
We got a little barbecue to finish.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, Merry Christmas. Enjoy your gifts. Don't stab yourself with your stabby knife. Yeah. And adios.
Adios.
Arrivederci. Hasta la vista.
Adios.
Adios, muchachos, caballeros de la Will you get out of here? Strange, he left by the balcony.
Oh, my dad. Oh, my gosh. That man had the patience of Job.
He had to deal
live
with you?
With me, yes.
I was much tamer as a kid than you were.
Yeah. Well, that's what he said. He looked one time. He says, "I hope, I pray that God gives you a child just like you."